Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Thanks for coming out. What we're looking at is a YARDMAX, which happens to be a 2020 model year, so kind of a newer machine. Picked this up this week for 10 bucks from one of my scrappers. I was hesitant to take it because it is a China machine, and I'm kind of disappointed in you kids and cadets for not talking me out of it. I had figured I would give it a shot, but I know if anybody was standing behind me like you kids or cadets would have been, you would have tried to talk me out of buying this China machine, this YARDMAX. But we're going to give it a go anyhow, see what happens. So I figured I would give it a run for its money. First thing I notice is the oil was low, so I've added some oil to the crankcase. It's in between the low and high mark. We'll look at that right now. I just threw some old used oil in there to bring it up to snuff. Just the fact that the machine looks fairly new, I figured for the money I couldn't go wrong, so I gave it a shot. No wear on the tread on the tires. Like I said, it's less than a 3-year-old unit. May of 2020 is the production date, so we're coming up on almost 3 years here in a couple of months. So I want to discuss a few things with this. Just by looking it over, just some marketing things they've tried to do to get people to buy the YARDMAX. Number one, the name YARDMAX kind of resembles yard machine or yardman, YARDMAX. So if you weren't paying attention, you could be fooled by the name. And the coloring, the orange deck, kind of makes you think it's a Husqvarna. But it's no Husqvarna. So a little bit of color association here with their choice of orange paint. $170cc. I've never seen so many stickers on a machine. This happens to be the YG1650 is the model number. Easy start. Kind of reminds me of the Toro, guaranteed to start. So they got this thing stickered up. I was thinking, even if the machine doesn't start, this Screaming Eagle sticker here on the deck could probably cut the grass on its own. There's nothing like a Screaming Eagle to get your grass cut in a jiffy. So this is an all-China machine. It's distributed out of Illinois, is the U.S. base. So the family name or number for the engine is this. In case you have one like it. So we're good on oil. Why don't we take a fuel sample? Maybe this thing has contaminated fuel, or maybe the connecting rod is worn out. Who knows? We're going to find out here momentarily. I'm just going to take my turkey baster from Dollar Tree, take a fuel sample, see what we're dealing with. There is some debris in it. There may be water in the fuel. I'm going to grab a glass container because it's kind of hard to tell from here, but there is debris for sure. As far as water, I don't know. I think I do see a layer down at the bottom. It's hard to tell. Let me get a glass container and we can definitely be able to see the separation. It's not the cleanest glass jar. My concern is the separation of the water and the gasoline. I can see some separation here. There is some water in the fuel. So that may be our issue here. Let me go directly into the glass jar with a couple of more bits of fuel. Okay, we got more water this time than fuel. You can see that it's really milky. So I think they had a gas jug full of contaminated fuel. It's mostly water. So let's check the filter. These filters are kind of funky on these. I've worked on a few of these Mower style machines. They got this foam type contraption. Which looks like it broke in half. I think this should be one piece. And so this is all you get for a filter. It's just a piece of foam stuck in there. No paper or metal to keep this together. So this is kind of chicken shit. So we'll leave that loose. It's got a priming bulb here. Let me put the cap back on, prime it. I know we're not going to get shit because water doesn't burn. I've been trying for years. It doesn't work. will motivate it if it doesn't fire off. So it must have had some good fuel still in the bowl. This has got a Honda style knockoff carburetor, which actually has a drain on the side. And a drain on the bottom. It's got some sort of Chinese name on it. I can't read it from here. But I'm sure if we loosen that 10mm screw here, that would have a bunch of water pouring out of the bowl. When we're down here, I'll continue to show you around. The YG 1650 overhead valve. I bet you it's got a China plug. It does. It's got a Torch brand plug, which are junk. So I wouldn't expect them to use a Champion plug. Warning, hot exhaust could burn. No shit. 7-in-1 height, cutting height options. Danger. Do not stick your finger or face in the blade. Cancer causing and reproductive harm could ensue to nursing or pregnant mothers. That's always good to know. What else? You got your Chinese emissions control label. All the do's and don'ts. 21-inch push mower, 3-in-1, 11-inch height, 1-touch cutting adjustment. They're really trying to motivate you to buy this thing. I thought this was cute as well. Folding handle, compact storage. They're trying to get the Turo buyers with their Turo stow and go compact storage. Whatever it takes to sell the unit. I was sold on the orange paint myself. 3-in-1 system. Push 3 times to prime, like you would a Briggs Pulsajet. Maintain every 50 hours. Every 10 hours for unusually dusty conditions. Let me put you back up here. Let's see if it'll stay running. I can hear it squishing. But like I said, the water in the tank is what our issue is. So we may have lucked out with this YARDMAX. It may be just a fuel-related issue. I could probably even get by siphoning the water out of the tank, put fresh gas in it, take that nut off the bowl, and let it just flush out the system. I could get real lazy on this if I wanted to. Yeah, that was a one-shot Annie. We know it's a carb clean. Let's see if they've tried to cut large boulders with this 21-inch blade. Blade doesn't look terribly bad as far as wear is concerned. They cut wet grass sometime in the distant past. Which you don't want. You see the moisture here on this clump of grass. That sits right next to your painted deck, and then you have eventually paint peeling off with scaly rust under that. So there you go. That's a quick way to get deck rust through. Okay, back to blade condition. Pick a spot here on the deck, make a mark. Rotate the blade. It goes by the same spot. This blade may be on backwards, as a matter of fact. I think that it blades on backwards. No, it's on right. My mistake. It is flat. Needs to be touched up, but I don't see any major nicks. Smoother than a baby's bottom, but we can correct that. So I'm glad you guys didn't convince me not to buy it. I would have let a decent mower go down the street. Lost a little bit of gas out of the cap. Must have came out of the breather hole. Anyway, I'm kind of pleased with this turd, the YARDMAX. Fired off, it sounded fairly good. There was a little bit of clanking there when it first tried to start. Oh, and I guess the filter should be two pieces because there's two compartments. I just see a piece of plastic divider here. I think I know what that clicky is, a compression release. I think that's why it's clackety-clacking there at the end. So maybe I'll do a follow-up with you, kids and cadets. I won't scold you the second time around. I think this may have turned out to be an okay machine. What else on this? I think that's it. Blade, oil, and carb clean. Like I said, I may go lazy and just drain the bowl. Let this fuel in there drain out. I wanted to show you where this came from in Illinois. Maybe it's somebody's hometown. Looks like Roselle, Illinois, 60172 zip code. Congress Circle North. Roselle, hope I'm pronouncing it right. Roselle, Illinois. That's probably just their American YARDMAX corporate offices, manufactured in China. Tame the great outdoors. You can do that with YARDMAX. That's all you're getting today. Sorry about that. Appreciate you coming out. I'll have another one for you tomorrow. Don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something. Tip your waitress and wait staff. Have a good day today.